Welcome to the Real Me Podcast. Just sitting here, decided to do an audio episode this time. Just sort of looking at my window right here, opening it up. The yard needs to get some grass cut. We need to cut some grass. It's getting very, very long. I don't want to make this too long, but I just thought that I'd sit here and talk about something that I've been meaning to say for a while. This eclipse season has been very, very wild for me. I've had a lot of ups and downs so far. And I've had a lot of things shifting, changing as eclipse season brings. Eclipses bring change and transformation. They bring sort of tumultuous events to the surface. They sort of bring emotions to the surface. They bring everything to a head. And you don't often get a choice in the change, but you are led to make a change because you were led to during eclipse season, because the veils are really, really thin. You're led to surrender to spirit and move on a new path with the new chapter that is unfolding in your life. And it is about being humble and being willing to flow with that change, flowing with that transformation. Talked about this before in other videos, but I just thought that I'd just come on and just address this fully. I had some visions for this year, 2026. I envisioned it to be this wonderful year when everything would go just fine. I would have no issues with anything. Would have no problems with anything going on. It would be beautiful. It would be wonderful. It would be very, very smooth. Well, that was between January 17th and I want to say May 6th. Like, that was the span of time that was really, really good for me in my life. I was into cooking shows, as I still am now, history documentaries, reading fiction books, reading history books, doing all those things, listening to astrology videos. So I started my podcast. This podcast, the Real Me Podcast. I started my Cosmic Sky podcast. And that was a really, really good time in my life. And it ended as soon as Pluto, the planet of death and transformation, went into retrograde motion. Ever since then, all these insecurities have come up. I've been trying to wrestle with these insecurities. I couldn't compartmentalize them because they've just come up, and the way to work with Pluto retrograde is to address what you need to address. And And excuse me, somebody was just walking to my door with a package, so I got distracted. Pluto has been on my head ever since it went retrograde. I've been having all these insecurities from what if this recording is not going to save in my audio files? What if I accidentally delete the recording? What if it doesn't show up on my computer? What if it doesn't publish on Spotify? Those were the insecurities that came up for me at the time. And all this, for the past 3.5 years, it's been all internal things that have been going on. Internal things to wrestle with. Grapple with, I guess you could say. My regrets, my depression, my guilt about the past, my guilt about all that I did in the past with video deleting, channel surfing on YouTube, everything like that. And now it was happening outside of me. Like, I just went through 3.5 years of sadness and bleakness and really, really crispy river downside of my life. And now that all these things are happening, all this instability is happening, it's like I took for granted the stability of the past 3.5 years. Because I was so depressed. I couldn't look beyond the depression. And so then all these insecurities started to rise. I had issues with publishing episodes on Spotify in May. Middle of May, I published an episode, basically back in April, the episode published, but I had to get somebody to get it to be published, to get it to be on there, right? I had to get somebody because there was like a technical outage. Now I want to highlight that for you, because this is important. I had to get somebody. I had to get somebody. Well, let me rephrase it a little bit. I could get somebody. Doesn't it sound better? Doesn't it sound more positive? Doesn't it sound like I'm sort of seeing the blessing right there? I could get somebody to help me out with that? Well, of course I couldn't say that at the time because I was in it. I had no idea what would happen in the future. We just don't know what's going to happen in our future, in our stars, in our experience. So he, whoever they were, got the episode published in April. Then in May, I had an issue with an episode getting published, because I published it, but it didn't go out to Spotify. And I had to, there was an issue with the file getting ingested, or trouble getting to the back end of Spotify. They had several issues working out. It's not a perfect platform, or it wasn't at the time, and they've got the issue well fixed by the end of June. They got it fixed, and I didn't have to worry about it again. Thank goodness. I was also insecure about the very recording app that I'm recording off of right now. and whether I would record something and it wouldn't save to my audio files, and it wouldn't do it because of what experience I had May 14th when I recorded an episode and it didn't save, it didn't show up, and then I just refreshed my thing and just refreshed my app and then it just came up. But I found out through Google Gemini and everything like that that it was fine, that it doesn't happen like that. I didn't even know what happened. I disabled the app. I enabled it. Again, I downloaded it. Installed it. Again, as well as another one that I use, two voice recording apps that I use. I alternate them. It's whatever one I feel like using. So I had that insecurity really, really strong. I was really, really anxious. I was really deeply anxious about it. I was in a very, very... I was like, there was this tension in my body as I was recording. This tension, this discomfort of like, what if it doesn't save? What if it doesn't save? What if I press save to the file and it just goes away? Like I don't see it and I'm not able to get it. Like that fear and insecurity has really, really kept me in several episodes too from feeling free to express myself, to express my knowledge, my insights, get through the information in an excited, happy, joyful, abundant kind of way, feeling light enough to be able to enjoy the experience of doing it. So, I had that going on for me. That happened with that whole insecurity going on. That happened from May to June, or maybe up until August. At least now, I'm worried that if I record off of one app, then it won't show on my computer if I record off of the other. But I don't know, I had that insecurity, like all these irrational things. Like I suffer from OCD. I have, my mind is very, very much OCD-like. It's not fun having OCD because you can't think rationally. You can't see what is rational, what is logical, what makes sense realistically, So I had that with the that particular insecurity. And I was upset on the 24th of June when an episode didn't get published, and I was asking sort of advisors on Spotify, another key detail to remember, which is coming up very soon. Advisors on Spotify about the episode getting published. Or that didn't get published. I tried to get them to work with it, and they said, we've been having these technical issues, but we've gotten them fixed now. Okay. And I had the voice, which has a curse words, string of curse words and swear words, so I can't think clearly. I tend to fixate on and keep bringing back details and keep confirming it over and over again, and anything which was like, no, unfortunately, this is negative, this is critical, this is very, very dire, very, very serious, like I just want to just ignore it and put it aside when I have the voice. Like any negativity or criticism does not work when I get the voice, because it makes it worse. It makes it a very, very negative experience, and I cannot have those kind of things happen when I get that voice every so often. I get it. But, anyway, I got that fixed. Felt so much better that afternoon. Continued on into the end of June, recording episodes until the end of June. And then June 29th, the Mercury retrograde happened. And this Mercury retrograde, at least the first couple of weeks, would have been a doozy of a Mercury retrograde. And I think that we all felt a doozy. We were all very subjective in our emotions, feeling, all the feels, being very, very sensitive, being very, very, this and that and everything like that. So, the Mercury retrograde happened in Cancer. And what I was anxious about, what I was already anxious about, was the fact that on the last Mercury retrograde, the day that Mercury station retrograde in February, the 26th, I recorded a really early episode of this podcast, and the sound went out in some parts. So I was anxious about that. I was nervous to do it on the day that Mercury was stationing, because the sound would go out in some places, but I don't really buy that now. So I'm not afraid to record things like during Mercury retrograde in that sense, because of the sound going out. So I got over that, but then I was still sort of tense and anxious about what if I would say something and the sound would go out during a recording. So I in fact, let me just disable. I don't know if I have it. Oh yeah, it's disabled. Okay, so I was anxious about the sound going out. Like if I would say something and it parts of the sound go out, and I remember going to work June 30th. This is before it happened. This is before it really, the first big thing happened. Was I was just so in my head about, at least I wasn't feeling perfect and so good and so giddy and so happy that day, and then everything was crushed. Like, I was very, very insecure that day. I was, thinking in my head about what was I going to say? About the sound going out. So I was anxious about that. I got in my head about that. Very, very much in my head. Like, I was so depressed about it. And then I went home. Everything was just fine. I thought everything was just going to be just fine. And I just had this idea of recording a video about why I do not curse in videos and why I will not curse in videos, and I never curse in videos. So I just got an image saved in my computer. I was going to share it on my screen in a Zoom recording and blow the image up and talk about it like I do on several of these podcast episodes of the Realme podcast. And the image, it did save, but then I just got this intuition to go on my YouTube channel. So I clicked the bookmark to my channel, clicked it. All of a sudden, I saw the subscribe button was not pressed, and I saw the community button right next to the subscribe button. I did not see the manage video button. And then I looked up to the top right-hand corner. I was signed out of YouTube. Oh, well, I'll just sign back in. So I was surprised, I was shocked, but what could have happened I so wish this would have happened, because it actually did happen at the beginning of August. They signed me up for security purposes, and I just signed back in just so that they can have a secure footing, like YouTube can have a secure, like the system can have a secure footing on who I am. So I signed back out and then signed back in. Well, I just wish that was the case, because I clicked sign in. Boom. I saw only my original channel, the one that I was posting on for 2 years, 2021 through 23. And then I didn't see any other channels. So I was like, wow, this is weird. Why am I not seeing any other channels? Why can I not click on any other channels? So I clicked that channel, and then it said that my channel has been flagged and removed from YouTube because of spam, scam, and deceptive practices. And I was just freaking out, because I was like, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Like what did I do to deserve this? Like I was just freaking out, because I was like so stressed and so, startled by what happened. I was freaking out. Because this was my investment. This was my passion. Was my channel. This was what I was passionate about. And I got logged out of it. So I just went crazy. I was not in a calm state. A family member had to write an appeal for me, because I was not in the calm enough state to be able to sit down and do it. And they know what happened in the last appeal. What happened with the last appeal? There was reason to be all freaked out and scared. But so, the appeal was written like, I don't monetize, I don't sell anything, I don't this, I don't that, I'm perfectly fine. So I was just freaking out. It was like I was screaming like, ah! Like I just felt like the rug had been pulled out from under me. And my whole, life was over. I just felt, really, really devastated. Extremely devastated that, this happened. And I was really, really upset. And my mom was really comforting to me. She said, kept encouraging. She said, you have your Spotify and you can grow that, and you have your other platforms, you can do that. And so, yeah, that was what was said to me. She said that to me. I was very, crying, very, very upset, because I didn't know when I would get it back. I just couldn't afford to not post on there like I do on a daily basis, like, how I post, so often here on this channel, or have been posting so often. I was just so devastated, because I didn't know how long it was going to be until they would see the appeal, and I didn't know if they would grant the appeal or reinstate the channel, or I didn't know if they would deny. I didn't know. I was just all the uncertainties and the insecurities and anxieties and the worst case scenario fears, catastrophizing, like that all came up on that day. And it was Mercury retrograde, and this all started during a Mercury retrograde. When things go awry, technical difficulties, technology doesn't behave right, systems make mistakes, like all these things go wrong during Mercury retrograde, like all this stuff. With Mercury retrograde. The best thing I could say for Mercury retrograde is just smooth over your nervous system, calm your nervous system, regulate your nervous system, meditate, journal, walk, do whatever to help ground your nervous system, because anything can happen and probably will during a Mercury retrograde. I know because I've experienced it, and don't tell me that, oh, it's just, I had all these expectations, like it would be a good time to review, a good time, no. Mercury retrograde is a tough time, and I experienced it as such, and the best thing I can do is to try to get through Mercury retrograde, and the best thing to how to thrive is to regulate your nervous system. So regulate your nervous system during Mercury retrograde. Oh my goodness. Really, really angers me that Mercury goes retrograde. Why can't every other planet go retrograde and that planet can just be in Aquarius on August 3rd and probably Scorpio on May 7th, or maybe even Leo on August 3rd and Taurus on May 7th. So it just, where it's at different points in the year. Like if I had my way, and if probably a lot of us have a way, Mercury would be assigned for 21 to 22 days at a time. And it would be constantly moving forward. But Mercury goes backward because it was assigned before in the same sign the sun is in, or the sign after, so it goes too far beyond the sun, it has to go back. So that's just how it works. Got the channels back that day, thank goodness. The channels were reinstated. I saw all of them on that day, and I was like, whew, thank goodness that was over. I got them all back, so naturally what I did was I did a live stream saying losing access to my channel. I had this happen to me, and God didn't want me to, it wasn't meant for me to just not be on YouTube anymore. Like I still have things to say, I still have things to do and things to talk about, and whatever. It's still in the cards for me. And I thought that it was all over by that point. I thought that, they got my channels back. I got my channels back. All of them back. Thought that no problem would happen. Remember feeling anxious about it happening again for several days up until July 7th, when then it happened again. Because on July 7th, the same thing happened. I went to work on that Tuesday, because I go to work on Tuesdays. And during that same span of time, like that same 2-hour span of time between 1:30 to 3:30, one of my other channels was removed. And this was from fortunately, when I went home, found out that this channel was removed, because I had the intuition to go on and clear out my, get rid of some AI videos I didn't want on there, because I did that at the time, because it was all new, and I was into it in like February, whatever. So I just thought that I just privatized these things, because I didn't want them on there. Well, I just saw that channel removed. Or not, one of my channels. It had a picture of an oracle deck on it. Like the profile picture was of an oracle deck that I had in my collection, and the handle of it had my name. The handle of it was, I won't say it, but it's just kind of a very, very random name. I don't know. It was removed. I clicked on it for the same reason: spam, scam, deceptive practices. So, I was calmer because all my other channels were, there. And they were available for me to use and post off of. And so I wrote, I wrote an appeal to them, saying, I do not monetize for anything on this channel, not like I don't do anything like that. And so I was dragged into this whole thing, and I was caught in these crossfires, and I do not deserve, and I did not deserve to be dragged into this. I, in my very nature, in my very soul, do not deserve to be in this situation that I'm in now. So, I mean, I wish I could share this to all the people that I follow, like all the astrological, spiritual people that are posting on YouTube. Like, I wish I could share this with them, so that they all would see it and hear what I have to say in this episode. So, it makes me so angry talking about it and contemplating it, because it's like, why did this happen to me? Why did I have to go through all of this? Well, the reason why is because Spirit picked up on all the stuff that I was saying in my videos. You know what? You're not aware that you are not posting on a platform that works the best, that is out of integrity, that is out of all these kind of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to take something away from you. We're going to create this circumstance in your life so that you can be more in alignment with those things that you said on your videos. So you can be more in alignment with those things so that you can walk your talk on, on those videos. So you talk about, authenticity, allowing everyone to be themselves, being true to yourself, being, like all these things I talk about on my videos. Eventually, if I were to continue it, maybe I'd sell merch and shorts of all the things I talk about. Probably. I mean, if I have enough of a community and I find a way to find the means of making t-shirts of all the things that I talk about and do all that. But so it's like we're going to take what you've talked about, and we're going to show you that not everything is based off of that. And we're going to reawaken you and bring you the truth of the fact that you are not posting on a company that is in alignment with all that you're talking about. So I started to went down to the underworld, started to see the dark side of YouTube. The dark side of YouTube. So it started then. I submitted the appeal, and then I was worried that, well, if they got to this channel that was removed, then they're going to get to the other channels that were that were removed. They're going to get to the channel that I'm off of now. I was so worried that the AI algorithm, because it was an AI algorithm, like, it's crazy to think that it was all done by, this was all AI, doing this, like the very machine, AI doing this, running this, having this happen, causing this experience to happen, that it was AI that, was responsible. So, I was worried that it was going to remove this channel too, and so I didn't want it to take this channel. So I went through and removed all the links to my videos. I scheduled videos out for different times, and I later in the middle of July put up a firewall to my channel so that any spamming comment would not be seen publicly, and you wouldn't be able to see those comments, on my channel. So I put up all the safety precautions and did all that. So I basically waited, was anxious about whether my channel would leave or go away from, July 7th all the way up until August. I got even more anxious August 9th, Sunday, when I realized that, if they deny the appeal, then I'm going to lose access to all my other channels, and I'm not going to be able to post on these channels. I'm not going to be able to do my content. I'm not going to be able to do all the stuff that I want to do, I want to produce the videos I want to do, etc. So that whole fear was really, and that's when my nervous system really started kicking into high gear. And during this whole time, my nervous system was really like really on, and really anxious and agitated. And then what happened was then what happened, what I want to tell you is I meditated, I did all that I could, and then, lo and behold, the day of the solar eclipse, the new moon solar eclipse in Leo, August 12th, 1:19 a.m. in the morning, YouTube sent an email saying, we looked at your appeal, and this channel has multiple violations, so we're just going to deny it, and we're just going to remove it altogether. With an evil laugh. It's like, they sent an email to me, and they didn't even explain what the violations were. They didn't even give me a second chance to go in and fix and take out what the issues were that caused this whole thing, that caused the whole violation. Well, like, I thought that this was cleared up already because I had those other channels removed, all that I lost. How come I lost all my channels on June 30th, but then that channel, that one channel was removed on July 7th, and then they had, all the channels available. All the rest of the channels available, So, I thought that this was all resolved already. I thought this was over and done with. I thought this was put to bed. Well, not quite yet. So, let me think here. Let me just slow everything down now. It's my own OCD. It's my OCD mind. It's not anything to worry about. So, they didn't. And then after I found out about that, I journaled, I meditated, pulled oracle cards, and I came to the conclusion that I shouldn't post on YouTube for a while. Because I was worried that after they removed that channel, then, 3 weeks later, 2 months later, 3 months later, all my channels would be gone and removed from YouTube. Because AI told me, Google Gemini told me. And, I don't feel secure right now because I'm worried about the storage on my channel. Anyway, this podcast is not meant to be perfect, so it is what it is. I'm still going to post on it anyway. I'm still going to post this to my channel anyway, because I want to put it out there. So, what was I going to say now? I went back and forth between not posting on YouTube and deciding that I was going to post on YouTube. I wasn't going to post on YouTube. I was and I wasn't, because it was my channel and I wanted to, and I didn't want to let this take away from me and do all of this. And why not post? Well, because I didn't feel safe. Like, why do I not feel secure talking about this right now? Snap out of it. I do not feel safe posting on this channel. I do not feel safe posting on this channel. I do not feel secure posting on this channel. Because I don't want to pour my heart into something that'll probably be removed, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months, because I read Google Gemini, and I just felt my vibration just drop low, really, really dropping down, feeling drained, feeling anxious, feeling in fear, feeling, just so freaked out, like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Like, I was the one in the wrong. Well, like, I feel like the universe is, like, punishing me now. As if those 3.5 years of depression were not enough. Now I'm being punished, unfairly punished, for creating that channel that I created when I was in my deep depressed state. If I wasn't in my deep, dark, depressed state, I probably wouldn't have created it. I don't know. But I created that channel that got removed in the end of 2022. I didn't think of anything up at the time. I didn't think that 4 years later YouTube would crack down on its policies and try to get into the whole YouTube land of channels and try to eliminate channels. Try to do a platform-wide, scan and clearing of any scam channels, or any channel even suspicious, or even the slightest bit suspicious of anything scamming. Like, I had no idea that they were going to reflect back to me a Scorpio South Node tendency to leave behind, which is destroying something in order to eliminate one part. That's what Jen Spiller said in her book. And that tendency is like, I have this one little aspect of this thing, but you know what? I'm not going to just destroy and turn around this one little thing. Like, I'm not going to have moderation. I'm not going to be sane, be rational. I'm just going to destroy the whole entire thing. Like, oh, I want to remodel my kitchen. I just want to destroy my whole entire house. Oh, YouTube wants to get rid of all the scam channels. I'm just going to go across the whole platform and get rid of... I don't care if I destroy. I don't care if it destroys innocent channels in the process. I'm just going to burn through it, and I don't care. I just want to, just destroy, because I don't want that. That's unhealthy intensity. And that is not acting with integrity, benevolence, and goodwill, and kindness and consideration for other people. That's ego. That's what YouTube did. That's what YouTube did with the thing that it did with AI, the thing that did with the channels, the channels. Oh my gosh! Please comment down below your thoughts on this. I would just love to hear your thoughts on all this stuff going on, because it's not been easy for me to let go of my YouTube channel, because I invest so much, energy, time into it. It wasn't even my first YouTube channel, it was my second YouTube channel. If I could go back, I'd start over January 2020, right at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I would have made my first video. I would have posted like on a weekly basis, sort of consistently, maybe even started my podcast then, posted on YouTube, stayed on the same channel, maybe opened up other couple channels for some old archive videos that I filmed when I was little, with those things, just specifically to store those videos, to have those videos on there. Over time, like 2022, 23, would open that up, and, just still be on that same channel today, and probably be over 1,000 subscribers by now. nope, it didn't work out that way. I had to go through the whole, because I didn't have that awareness at the time. I had to go through the whole deleting of my YouTube channels. I had to go through the whole, deleting videos. I had to go through, all this stuff. I don't want to even go into it because it's too much of a thing to go into. This would be forever if I even went into that. I do not have the mental energy to go into all that. But it's been hard. It's really, really hard living in my body, living in my life right now, because it's not easy, and it has not been easy, and it's been very, very humbling to my knees, all this, ego death kind of thing happening. It's precisely this eclipse season, that one eclipse in Leo is like an old version of you is dying, releasing old identities to be more authentic to yourself. And it's like, what is no longer an energy match for you? What is no longer, where you can no longer shine your light bright, where you no longer feel safe, because you cannot be fully yourself if you do not feel safe. And the wisdom that I come to with that is very, very profound. And, don't try to lie or suppress that you don't feel safe. Just be honest with yourself that you don't feel safe in the situation, and you don't have to perform just for others if it doesn't feel safe and good to you. That's authenticity. That's you putting yourself first. That's you knowing yourself and doing what is right and doing what is best for you. So, it has been a risk to not post on YouTube, and I'm just like, my following on Spotify is really, really non-existent right now, barely any following at all, and it's like, if I got more following on Spotify, it would make me want to, go over there. It would be easier, but I just get most of the following here on YouTube, which is barely anything at all. So, this has been very, very difficult for me to live through, but I have been strong and been resilient and, let go of this attachment to my channel. And this is what the universe has tried to make me do the whole time, is lose my attachment to something which is not aligned with a high vibration. How is YouTube, with what it did to me, with completely cutting me off without looking into it enough, without looking into the nuances of it enough, without having a clear enough communication toward me to, like there isn't even a chat in the YouTube studio where you can chat up an advisor in YouTube and talk to them in the YouTube studio about what is going on. And if that was the case, this issue would have gotten fixed weeks ago. That last week, I'd probably be feeling pretty good about this, and I'd probably be pretty certain right about now if I could talk to somebody in the YouTube studio. But you know what YouTube's crappy way of communicating with them is? It's through X, Twitter. X, Elon Musk, Twitter took it over. Very, very negative. That's the only way to get into contact with YouTube. And when you do get into contact with them, when you do, it ain't worth it. Because it's a very minimal, vague response that it does barely any substance at all. They don't have any integrity and any willingness to help you out and give a good customer service for you. And now YouTube's making it even harder to monetize. Now, you have to have like 8,000 watch hours or something to be able to monetize as of February next year. This what they're putting into place, what they will put into place. But, YouTube, we're going to take every person in town and we're going to go through and see who, we're going to eliminate the ones who seem to be doing anything suspicious. It's like, you don't know. Like, this is going to come to light because whatever's in the dark comes to light. And don't make judgments about anyone unless you get, until you get to know them. They didn't even have the decency to be clear about the violations They weren't even clear about that. They just said multiple violations. You violate our policy. Like that's all they did. Like they're not, they're so big, and they're so big for the britches that they have not taken the time over the 20 years that they have existed to build centers around the world where people can get help, not just the ones that are monetized, but everyone can get help from them on the YouTube studio and, whatever, like a way of communicating with them on the platform itself, or also through email, not through X. Like, that's just dumb. Why you would communicate through that, and I got my X account suspended because apparently on X or Twitter you couldn't put links into anything, so that got, just, I don't know I don't know the sound to make with that, but that account went under, so I had to create another one just to, get this, just for the purpose of getting this issue dealt with. And I'm questioning myself, is it resolved now? Is it resolved? Or am I going to be waiting in this constant state of anxiety and fear and worry and stress about whether or not my channel is eventually going to go away? Well, they didn't say anything about my channels going away in the email that they sent to me. And it just makes no sense why Google Gemini would tell me that in 2 to 3 months, or 2 to 3 weeks, or months, or whatever, your channel is going to go away. Within about 4 months is the longest span of time. Like your channels are going to be removed because of this other channel getting removed. It's going to mean that the rest of the channels are going to be removed. Like, it just doesn't make sense why it would eventually happen. That's like constant waiting and anxiety. So you know what? I do not choose to believe that. But yet I knew about it, and I can't deny it. It's still worse. So I do not choose to believe that. I choose to, if I wasn't allowed to use my other channels, then why didn't they just block all of them off? Why am I still on here? If, makes no sense to me at all. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to me. Nonetheless, though, nevertheless, the way they work is cryptic, it is irresponsible, it is lazy, it is not based off of integrity, it is not based off of goodwill, it is not based off of authenticity and kindness and basic consideration and basic willingness to initiate and support, be proactive, YouTube being proactive on its part and helping people with their issues, which they should have a better way of doing. If they are the biggest YouTube video making platform, they should have all this stuff figured out by now. And the fact that they don't just baffles me. They do not they are not grassroots up. They are not for the people. They are, I want to dominate, and I just want to make money, and I just want to profit off people viewing my platform and getting attention, or our platform or getting attention. I want to dominate. I want to try to win battles with all the other companies. I want to be powerful. I want to be the biggest. I want to be the best. That is unhealthy, low road Leo energy with those big people in tech or whatever, thinking that they are God and they are above spirit and above the universe and above what is good and what is out of integrity, and thinking that they're doing anything they can to dominate. Like, that is not what we need in this life right now. And that South Node and Leo is just releasing all that narcissism, that selfishness, that, all that. And we're moving into Aquarius, which is for the people, for the good of the all, for the community. We're thinking about the greater good of humanity. We're thinking about what is best for, humanity here. We're really, considering that. So, that's what Aquarius is. It's a very, very humanitarian sign. It's very, very, focused on that. And, it's about decentralization, people having communities and, sites, social media sites that serve the community, that benefit the community, that are for the people. So smaller sites such as Substack and Spotify and maybe another platform will rise up and conquer over YouTube and be bigger and better and strive to replace YouTube. And I sure hope that they do, or that YouTube gets its back, act together. Otherwise, they're going to go down as a dinosaur social media company. I'm already feeling like they're just starting to dwindle and plateau, and there's a little bit of going through the motions happening with videos continuing to be posted on the platform. And I feel like there's going to be an uprising. And these other social media companies are going to rise, and they're going to, seek to, they're going to be better. They're going to be, they're going to dominate, but in a good way. They're going to dominate and overpower the forces of bad, the forces of evil, the devil, if you think about it in a religious context, and be a force of good, be warriors for good. And they will probably be smaller. They will probably, certain things may be a little bit lacking, a little bit imperfect, maybe at the beginning, but they'll certainly get these issues fixed out. And knowing this, if you have content on YouTube, if you post on YouTube, knowing this, would you want to continue to post on a platform that operates this way? Do you seriously want to continue to post on I'm talking to everybody that I follow right now. Do you seriously want to continue to post on a platform and talk about all these higher humanitarian things and have this platform, acting and doing all these kind of things like that? Do you seriously want that? Do you seriously believe in that? Seriously. Is it really worth continuing to inundate a system which is flawed, which is going to become old news before too long because of how it's choosing to work right now with all its AI and all its stuff? I just wish YouTube would just get rid of its AI. We don't need the AI, on YouTube. There's Google Gemini, there's ChatGPT, we don't need AI on YouTube. Get back to where we were before then, okay? I'm just furious. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, well, I am so mad. I do not want to continue posting on a platform because not only do I not feel safe and secure posting on this platform, but I feel pretty mad and I feel like I was hurt and I was harmed and I was not treated with the time and the effort and the integrity needed to carry out the deed of trying to really, really get to the bottom of that channel, because I had no intentions of spamming. I think that I would know if I was actually doing it. I do not sell you fake things and, whatever. What I I sure as heck won't do that moving forward, and I haven't done that in the past, and I will not, I will not try to scam and spam you on this platform. I don't want to do that, okay, because I don't believe in that. I don't think that we should get scammed and, waste our money and all that, and I totally agree with them on that, but the way that they approached it is absolutely in the wrong. They're absolutely in the wrong for that. And, I just feel like I'm just like kind of the feeling like I got when I stopped with the pretend American stuff, or stopped with the riding my scooter. Like, that was an old version of me, and I'm just I'm just going into the lower vibrations, going into the lower frequencies by continuing to post on YouTube. I am going into the lower vibrations, and I'm continuing to feed and engage with those low vibration companies and ways of being and platforms and those kind of things, and not choosing to only post on the high vibration social media companies and places that are for the people. Spotify is beautiful. Even though I do have some things to say about it, they do have good copyright rules on there, and they do not allow any AI music on their platform at all. They don't have hardly AI any on the platform. They have advisors on there where you can chat to. Like, think about this. YouTube does not have this. Like, going back to what I said earlier, I could. I had the option to talk to somebody on there. Like, think about that. YouTube does not have that. Like, I could go on the contact us, go to help on the creators, Spotify for Creators site, and put in my problem and ask for an advisor, and an advisor would pop up, and then the issue would be dealt with. Because it's a smaller company, because they're spread out probably all over the country, probably all over the world, I don't know. But point is that they are better, kinder, with more integrity, and they are just better as a company. They are better as a company. And they are much more humanitarian, Aquarian, and they are going to really, I really, really hope that they really thrive and maybe expand into looking a lot like YouTube, or Spotify is going to just turn into this thing which is going to be so huge, and continue to not have the AI continue to maybe provide, greater support for people, or whatever they do, like continuing to serve humanity as a whole. And I just want to say thank you to all those advisors on there, because you're really, really doing a very, very great thing by showing up and doing your job and helping out people on the platform who need help, who need their issues, their technical issues solved. So keep up the great work, advisors. I think that Spotify is a great platform. I think that Substack is a great platform. It's so versatile. You can do a live stream. You can even share your screen during a live stream. You can upload a podcast. You can do all these things on Spotify. It's a pity their audience is not as big as YouTube, though. It's a pity that I don't have a huge following on there right now, but I just only started building those platforms this year in 2026, so they will grow over time. But, it's just, it does not feel right to continue to post on a platform that has done wrong to me, and doesn't feel safe to continue to post on a platform that is probably gonna remove my channel, and they're ultimately the ones in charge. They say, we are the ones that, we are the ones in charge. It's like, when you birth a child into the world, you let that child be free. You let that child follow its soul desires. You guide and teach and support the child in following their soul's desires, but you do not, you do not force their hand and control them or do whatever. It's kind of the same way with, YouTube and YouTube channels. Like, you don't, control and, destroy YouTube channels. You birthed this baby, and it's time for you to continue to nurture the child instead of harming and hurting your relationship with the child. That means hurting the relationships with the people who produce content on the platform. So, I want to feel safe. I want to feel uplifted. I want to feel light. I want to continue to shine my light bright. I want to shine my light bright in my podcast episodes. I want to do all of that. I want to feel excited. I want to feel alive. I want to feel good and happy and free when I do my podcast episodes. In order to do that, I have to get off YouTube. My family, somebody else that I talked to in my life, approved it, but it certainly feels right to me on a soul level to get off the platform. And I've come to that conclusion through journaling and pulling oracle cards multiple times. And I think that I'm finally ready to do it. I think that I'm finally ready to let it go and surrender to what is not in my control and say, you know what, if you're going to play this game this way to me, I'm not going to participate with you anymore. I'm not going to support you anymore. At least for a while, until I feel better, until I feel like it's safe and like it's right after a while, like I want to come back on. I'm not going to continue I'm just going to say, I'm not going to continue to support you. If you did this to me, if you harm me this way, I don't want you to continue harming me. I don't want you to continue taking stuff away from me without providing a reason or rationale, or, if that's how you want to play the game, fine. I don't want to play that game. I have the freedom and the autonomy and the sovereignty to say, I don't want to play that game in that way. I don't want to play the game that way. So I won't play the game. I just won't play the game. And now we round up to the end of this episode. I don't want to continue to support a company who does this kind of thing, because it's like, you cannot do this to people. And you are so fortunate that I was not monetized yet. You are really, really fortunate that I didn't put in my information and monetize or sign up to the partners program or whatever to monetize my channel. You are so lucky that I didn't invest even more years into it and didn't do all that. You just, I didn't think that you realize how lucky you are. It's like, yeah, like, I'm mad. As you can probably tell through this podcast, I'm infuriated, and I want to continue to post on this platform. I do, but at the same time, I don't, and I feel like it is in my highest good to not continue to post on this platform. I feel like it is, like cutting out what is low vibration and low frequency, and choosing to put my voice, put my content, share my voice, my authentic voice on platforms which have integrity, are for the people that that are better, that are kinder, that stand for high spiritual principles, that are of a higher vibration. I wonder what, an astrologer that I follow who has a the biggest podcast on Spotify, every Monday and Wednesday, I wonder how she would feel about this if she was in my situation right now. She'd probably be pretty darn devastated. And probably a lot of others out there who I follow who talk about all this stuff, who talk about, higher consciousness and all these higher spiritual, astrological things, topics. They'd probably be enraged and livid if they knew what was happening and if they were aware. I don't even know that they're aware. I don't even know if anybody else is making a video about this. I don't even know if they've experienced this yet in their lives to be able to feel this way about it, about YouTube. And I wonder if they would, knowing this, question their, choices of wanting to continue to put their voice on a platform that doesn't adhere to all that wisdom that is coming out of not only, that comes out certainly out of my mouth and out of their mouths, So, with all that to say, I think I'm going to take a break from posting. I'm very, very, sure and certain on it. I didn't post the 2 episodes that I did yesterday and today for deliberate reasons, because I would be in a very, very unsafe, very, very anxious place doing it. So I want you to follow me on Spotify, Substack, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Those are going to be the platforms that I'm going to be posting on for a while, okay? I can't link things in the description because of the AI. And the system picking up on links. So all those, but there are links in my channel description. So if you're watching this and you've seen this all the way through, then go to my channel description and follow me on those platforms, and follow me, because I will be posting those videos, episodes, the Real Me podcast, episodes of the Cosmic Sky podcast, live streams that I do every 2 or 3 times a month, music content on Substack, music videos on Substack. There's all kind of stuff that I have going on that I do, that I used to do on my channel, but I'm switching it over to other platforms. So that's where I will be posting, okay? I mean, this is my plan, okay? This is my plan. So I want you to follow me over there. And maybe you can get off YouTube as well. Maybe you can post on these other platforms to convince YouTube that what they did was wrong, and to not let it be, not let how they operate and how they work to be okay. Because it is not okay. It has negatively affected me, and I'm sure many, many, many other people out there, many other creators out there, innocent creators out there. So, obviously the ones who are scamming, but, not that I don't care about this, and even, for the ones that scam, they wouldn't deserve to be going through this, but, still, hope that YouTube is starting to reevaluate, review things. I hope that YouTube learns from the error of its ways and improves and gets its act together and gets in shape and gets, all its ducks in a row and makes some changes for humanity, for the future, for the community, the YouTube community. And, yeah. So please follow me on those places. I just thought that I'd make an official episode about this. That is all that I'm going to say, really, on this episode of the Real Me podcast. More episodes of the Real Me podcast, as things come up, will be on Substack for you to listen to. Yeah. So, and I'm still going back, do I really, really want to continue posting on YouTube? I'm questioning it, and I'm very, very indecisive. So I'm just gonna say no. I mean, at least not for a while. It just does not feel safe. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like the vibrationally right thing to do. It just doesn't feel like a vibrational match to me right now in my life. So I'm going to do the authentic thing. I'm going to do what feels right. I'm going to do what's right for me. And I hope that you enjoy hearing me rant and go off in this episode of the Real Me podcast. And anyway, I have to figure out what I'm going to title this. And so anyway, bye for now, everybody. Take good care.